Rachel here and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a sit down video, as you can see, which is quite different to what I've been making recently. All of my last couple of videos have all been vlogs. So in today's video I'm actually going to be making something that's been highly requested, and that is a journaling video. So I posted on my Instagram that I journal, I showed my journal notebooks, and a lot of people messaged me being like, oh my god, can you do a series on like how to start journaling, how to write, how to just begin really. So today's video is going to be the first of a series. I'm going to do a couple of videos on how to journal, and the first one is just going to be basic tips. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video. Okay, so my first tip is to basically be consistent. Pick a time to journal each day. I personally love in the morning before I start work or just before bed. If you're finding this hard, set reminders and establish a habit. So I love to journal just before work. So I normally start work at around 8:30, 9, most days it's 9. So I would get up, get ready, and then about 10 minutes before work, I would open up my journal and just put down my intentions for the day, put down like a habit tracker for that day, and then also write a few sentences about how I feel, how yesterday was, or you could do it the night before. So if you want to be prepped, it's kind of like if you laid out an outfit for work. Instead, if you like prepped your journal for the day before, it's, I don't know, I just think it sets you up right for the next day. Okay, my second tip is probably going to be like, what? Pick a nice notebook. So if you have cute stationery, a cute notebook, cute journal, pens, etc., you're going to want to pick it up more and journal. I always have at least 2 journals. So I have this one, which is my feelings journal, and then I have this one, which is my productivity journal, which also has my notes for this video in. So yeah, this one is cute and floral, and I decorated this one with stickers, and they're like aesthetically pleasing and I like looking at them, so it's easy to pick them up and it's nice having them there, which probably sounds really silly, but it actually does work. Tip number 3 is to start small. So basically, if you want to start a habit or if you want to develop a habit, you're not going to be perfect at it straight away. So if you're struggling to journal for 10-15 minutes at a go, the first day you journal, only set a timer for 2 minutes. So then you have to write, you have to doodle, you have to do whatever for the 2 minutes. And then maybe a week later you push it to 5 minutes, etc. Just don't expect yourself to be able to have like a half-hour journaling session straight away. It's not going to work that way. Tip number 4 is to write what feels right. I feel like my accent made that sound really weird. Write what feels right. Don't force yourself to write things you don't want to think about. Sometimes forcing yourself to write bad experiences will make journaling a negative experience. This is actually something that my therapist and I spoke about, because I use journaling a lot as like a form of therapy and a form to like cope, and it's just like a soothing technique I use. But I got into this bad habit of only ever writing in my journal when things were going badly for me. So then if I was in a good spell, I just wouldn't write down my feelings that day and my thoughts, what was after happening, which then turns like opening up that journal something you dread because it's just full of bad negative experiences. So just make sure not to force yourself to write things that put you in discomfort, but then also make sure that you have a good balance of like bad and good. Again, it depends on what type of journal you want, and I think you should always have like 2 different types. That's why I separate them into productivity and feelings, because then they're not getting mixed, especially because a lot of your productivity stuff might be inspiring, motivating. You don't really want to mix that in with, oh, here's something really bad that happened today. Tip number 5 is probably going to sound a bit weird, but practice makes perfect, but journaling is never going to be perfect. If you're on Instagram or if you're on Pinterest and you're following journaling tags, you're going to see absolutely amazing journal spreads, which you're going to want. You're going to want your journal to look that pretty, that put together, that aesthetically pleasing, but it's just not going to happen. The first like 6 months of when I started to bullet journal for the first time, I would spend hours drawing out little boxes, little designs, and then I'd get frustrated if they didn't look like how the professional bullet journaling Instagram account looked like, and I'd end up ripping pages out of my journal and starting over again because I just wasn't happy with it. The thing about journaling is it's not going to be perfect. It's your personal space to just get everything out, and obviously if you're a creative person, you're going to want to make it look cute. Again, kind of back to my second tip about buy a cute journal, you want the inside of your journal to look nice as well. Just don't be so strict with yourself about how it should look. Just let it flow, and yeah, be kind to yourself and your journaling techniques. Tip number 6 is kind of related to the most common question I get on Instagram. It's, how do I start journaling? I don't know what to write. You need to start small. So if you open up a blank journal for the first time and you don't know what to write, basically write at the top, how do I feel today? And then do little bullet points of all the different feelings you felt. So if you felt happy, sad, anxious, upset, depressed, there's so many emotions you can put down on that page. And then you could write something else like, what happened today? And if you just wrote like simple tasks like, I got up, I made lunch, I went for a walk with my sisters, I went to the post office. I know this sounds so basic, but because we're in like a pandemic, there's not much going on in the first place, so you just need to start small. And if you're really struggling, like just look up prompts and stuff. But I think the most important thing is, don't expect yourself again to be able to write for 10 minutes. You need to start small. Tip number 7 is directly linked to tip number 6, and that is Googling prompts. Again, if you're struggling to journal, literally just Google journaling prompts and you'll get loads of examples of things you could write about in your journal that day. I personally never use prompts. I normally just start writing. This is my second time recording this video, but my feelings journal is the one right here, and the first entry in this journal was the 23rd of January 2019. Let me see, I want to find a good entry to read. Okay, so this is from the 15th of the 7th, 2020, and I wrote this at 9:07 a.m. Hello, I don't know why I didn't update my journal, but hello, I woke up feeling anxious today. I had a good sleep though. Blank texted me yesterday saying it's the right person, wrong time, and like, I want to believe him, but none of my friends or family do, and that's fair enough. If blank told me a lad said that, I'd go mad. I'm trying to forget it, but my heart is still heavy and sore. In other news, I drove to work yesterday and went charity shopping, so that was a nice difference. That's probably why I feel low today. I'm going to reply to my anxiety DMs today. I don't want to be rude. Anyways, I'm going to get a shower now. Bye. And then I put in, I literally like quoted the message I was after getting. Sorry, this is from like the guy. Sorry again, I genuinely didn't mean to be so distant about it. Yeah, exactly. Just like the circumstances aren't ideal for us right now. Continuing, I do care. I feel like it's just a case of right person, wrong time. So I'm really sorry about that. And then I drew a broken heart and I said, BRB crying. Not really, but I'm still sad. And this is like a random tip, but whenever I'm journaling, I'll always write the date. So like the 15th to the 7th, 2020, and then I'll always put the time at 9:07 a.m. I just think, like, I've been doing this since I was in second year. I just love having the time as well, because it's really interesting when you look back on like your different headspaces at different times of the day. Because if I was to write that diary entry the night before, I would have had a complete different reaction. Okay, so my 8th tip of this video is don't feel overwhelmed, and you don't need to have one journal. This is actually something I really struggled with when I first started bullet journaling back when I was in Maynooth. So when I was in college, I started bullet journaling for the first time, and I was obviously after having diaries my whole childhood, well, not my whole childhood, my whole teenagehood. So then when it came to having a bullet journal, I was like, okay, so do I need to like write how I feel and then also have my productivity lists? And it was just really confusing because I didn't want to mix the two. Like I already said, being productive is a complete different feeling and experience to feeling sad and your experiences and your thoughts. So yeah, basically don't feel overwhelmed and have 2 notebooks, like I said, feelings journal and a productivity journal. Okay, so when I was doing research for this video, obviously a lot of these are my own personal tips, but one thing that I came across online, which I've never considered, is to have like a journaling jar, which would just be like a plain glass jar like this. This is obviously filled with my stationery, but instead of, I don't know, using it for whatever, you fill it with prompts. So if you go online, write out all the prompts you find, or in some cases you can find prompt sheets and you can literally cut them out and then pop them into the jar. So whenever you're having a day where you don't know what to write, you pick out a prompt and that's what you write about. A couple of years ago, when I had a boyfriend, who was obviously on this channel a lot, for his, I think it was his 21st, I'm not really sure, I got him a journal, and he didn't journal, I don't think he journaled, but I was like, oh, I love journaling, you should try it too. So I would flick through the journal, and it was blank obviously, and on random pages I would write prompts, and I didn't really think there were prompts at the time because I wasn't that like in tune with journaling, but they were basically just questions that he could fill up that page in like while answering the question. So it would be three good things that happened today, where I want to be in 5 years, my perfect day, and it's just to get you thinking and to get you writing. But if you were to buy yourself a blank journal and then flick through it and pick random pages and write questions on the start, so say if you were to buy this journal this week and you're like, I want to start journaling from next week, that's what you could do. You could just write random questions on the pages, and when you come across that page, you answer the question. And yeah, the journaling jar was my last major tip. But I think what I really want to get across is don't feel overwhelmed. Like, journaling is really therapeutic. It's a nice practice for yourself. And like I said, have 2 notebooks. I know like people kind of get confused. They're like, wait, is journaling and bullet journaling the same thing? Is keeping a diary different? And I actually wrote down the definition of bullet journaling because I wasn't sure like what the actual definition was. So what is a bullet journal? A bullet journal is a method of personal organization developed by designer Ryder Carroll. The system includes scheduling, reminders, to-do lists, and brainstorming into a single notebook. So yeah, that's what that is. And yeah, I do kind of enjoy bullet journaling, so I'm gonna have like 2 separate things. Like, I don't know if you guys need tips on how to like have a feelings journal or how to have like a bullet journal, but if you do have questions, let me know down below. And yeah, I'm trying to see if I have anything else here. I just wrote down at the bottom of the page, set intentions, self-reflection, and figuring out your priorities. And I think there are 3 good points about what the whole purpose of writing is. So if you set your intentions for the day, if you self-reflect on what's after happening to you in the past, and then figuring out your priorities, because obviously, especially with the pandemic, we're in our head a lot because we're not with people, and you can get kind of muddled. You don't know what you want, you don't know where you're going. So if you have a journal, you can just write that all down, and it's just a lot easier to see where you're going to go and where you want to go. So yeah, I'm going to show you actually a couple of the journals I have right now. So this is the blank one I bought. This is like what you would use for bullet journaling. I've actually 2 blank ones here. So bullet journaling, you don't normally, but dotted paper, like, so I enjoy the dots. I know you can get squares or lined. I don't like those ones. So this will be my new journal, my new productivity journal, because my other one is now full. I've had it since 2019, so adios that journal, which I'm going to keep referencing because I really do like it, and there's a lot of stuff in it that I need. Well, I could just put them into this journal, but I really like my journal. So I have 2 blank ones, and then I got this journal because I just wanted inspo for journaling. I had one of these. It's a Bando journal. I had one of these when I was in college, and they're really, really good. And then obviously my feelings journal, and then I also got a well-being journal, so it's like for mental health. And yeah, I'll go into more depth about the different types of journals in my next video. This is actually something I kind of was feeling weird about, because obviously I'm making this video and it's going to be up at the end of January, start of February, and I almost felt weird about it because a lot of people like to kind of start that let's be productive. I don't know why I keep saying productivity. Let's be productive, January, woo, let's go. I'm actually not a fan of New Year, New Me, because I feel like the first couple of weeks of January, it's still cold, it's still dark out, it's just kind of miserable. So I kind of gave myself the month of January as like an extended December. So my new year doesn't really start until the last week of January coming into February, because you need to give yourself time to prep. And that's why I haven't come out earlier with this type of video, because I just don't feel the start of January is a good time for me. So if you haven't started journaling yet, this is your perfect time to start. My next video, I'm not sure, it's going to be me doing out like a spread of it's gonna be like my first spread of the year. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. I'll be in a new notebook, and yeah, if you want me to keep reading out like random extracts from journals, I have journals that go all the way back to 2012. Let me know and I will, because I think that actually might be a cute little thing to do in the videos. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support. I reached 5k subscribers, I think in December, it was in December, but a lot of bad stuff happened in December, January, so I wasn't really online as much. But yeah, thank you so much for 5k, and I really hope 2021 is a good year for me and all of you out there watching, and just hopefully we can all grow together. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! I'm praying this video is in focus.